in Connecticut who ride these rails every day, and to the businesses who rely on the freight service as well in Northwest and Central Connecticut. And I hear from a lot of those commuters that they are very concerned about rail safety, as you can imagine, for the last 2 years. And we've been talking about, ever since the fatal collision in 1969, we've been talking about positive train control. And as you can sense from today's hearing, there's increasing impatience and concern about how long that's taking. Now, I think we really need to get down to brass tacks of what are the carrots and sticks, what are the incentives at this time, recognizing the difficulty with spectrum, the difficulty with interoperability, and with the budget challenges. What do we do now to move this forward as expeditiously and safely as possible? And that's where I'd like to start from. The past is the past. We are here now. We are in June of 2015. How do we get this moving forward to keep people safe? So first, as Acting Administrator Feinberg, again, thank you for your patience and your transparency and your exceptional availability to us on the committee. We value that quite a lot. In your testimony, you noted that you think FRA needs the authority, given the situation right now, over the PTC control systems to test them, as well as to provide for interim safety measures when they do not meet that deadline, which is all very clear. Most of them will not be meeting that deadline. Could you expand and say, what should we be doing in this committee? What should this committee of jurisdiction be doing to give FRA authority, and why?
Thank you for the question. I think the most important thing that we can do starting now and going forward is to provide railroads with the resources that they need to implement PTC. So this administration has asked, the FRA has asked for significant resources for the commuter railroads so that they can implement PTC. I think that's the most important thing that can happen. But additionally, in terms of our authority, the statute is quite narrow. And so as others have discussed, we really do run into a problem on January 1st where the law is the law. And despite preferences of railroads, I can't give waivers. I can't base waivers on good faith. I can't extend the deadline, and I won't extend the deadline. And so we have to figure out how to move forward past January 1st to make sure that passengers, folks who live near and along rail, are safe. And so I'm happy to continue to work with the Congress on that, but the most important thing is to make sure that we're providing resources so that we can actually bring this technology online quickly.
A quick follow-up question. Do you believe that the railroads that fail to meet that deadline, and I'm asking now under current law, will be subjected to increased tort liability? Are we going to, because the insurance issues are already raised here today. That is obviously a very, very big stick that, again, I think this committee needs to understand what is the legal opinion of FRA about that, as well as the railroads.
The opinion of the FRA, look, I don't want to give the railroads legal advice, and I'm probably the only person in this room who's not a lawyer, but we are certainly hearing from the railroads that they absolutely believe that they are in increased liability as of January 1st, and we agree with them.
Well, I think we need to get to work on that, because that's not in anybody's interest as we move forward. Mr. Mathias, good to see you. We went to college together, so thank you for being here. I'm hearing from the railroads, and particularly in the Northeast Corridor, we've heard other members reference this, the difficulty about spectrum. What is it from your perspective, from the FCC's perspective, that we can do, particularly in the very congested space, and that is spectrum space, as well as physical space, that we should be doing to expedite the safety in the Northeast Corridor, the most heavily trafficked area in the country?
Thank you, and it's good to see you too. Thank you for your question. We have an increasingly good news story in the Northeast Corridor with regard to spectrum. It's my understanding that currently Amtrak has the spectrum it needs to deploy, which would be relevant for Connecticut. In addition, we currently have in front of us a proposed transaction that would provide the MTA additional spectrum to provide coverage between New York and New Haven, which would fill a gap in their spectrum coverage. And we also understand that the MBTA has the spectrum that we need. So what our job will be is to ensure that we're working as quickly as we can, or fully engaged, to make sure that those transactions are completed as quickly as possible as soon as we have the information, and to be ready in case something changes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Micah.